Hey guys, what's up? perrydew07 here, and welcome to my newest episode of This Week in perrydew07 Sports Film. I got some NASCAR, F1, and also some NFL action, Week 5, and also hockey season just starting right now. Oh, and there's a couple things I forgot to mention in my last episode. The Major League Baseball playoffs is going on right now, as well as the WNBA finals, which between the Las Vegas Aces and the Phoenix Mercury, which as of right now and as I'm recording this, the Aces are now currently leading 2 games to none. I believe Game 3 is tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens. Who wins the series ultimately wins the championship. Now, and of course, hockey season, as I just mentioned a second ago, they just got started. Now, baseball wise, and I may have to, you know what? Maybe, hold on, shoot. You know what? I'll just start with F1 first. And only for the second time this season, George Russell wins the Singapore Grand Prix. Well, Max Verstappen second, Lando Norris third, Oscar Piastri fourth, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli finishes in fifth. Now, now on to the NASCAR, which happened at Charlotte Roval, which by the way, it was crazy, especially the last lap. Last lap was crazy. Ross Chastain tried to pass Denny Hamlin to get that one spot to get himself locked into the next round, but by doing that, he simply crashed not only Hamlin but also himself out, which allowing Joey Logano to pass through. So therefore, and Logano ended up racing his way into the round of 8, which by the way, the round of 8 starts this weekend at Las Vegas. So leaving Chastain along with the two 2311 racing cars such as Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace, and the only Penske guy did not make it was Austin Cindric. He too was also eliminated after the round of 12. So, and now on to the NFL. Week 5. We'll start with a Thursday Niner between the 49ers and the Rams. Of course, the 49ers beat the Rams, though albeit it took overtime to do it, 26-23. And then we have to hold on. Crap. Hold on. All right, here we go. Now on to this, Sunday morning here in the States, which is also I'm guessing about 1 o'clock out overseas at the UK, in London specifically, where the Vikings beat the Browns 21-17. Only thanks to the last few seconds, Carson Wentz scored Addison for late touchdown to ultimately hand the Vikings the win. Now on to the 1 o'clock games. We have the Texans blowing out the Ravens, surprisingly. Or maybe not entirely surprised, but wow. Anyway, 44-10. Texans blowing out the Ravens. Now on to the Panthers barely beat the Dolphins, though albeit they came back 17 down to win 27-24. And there's another comeback game. Broncos beat the Eagles despite being down 14 points, as many as 14 points, but managed to come back to win 21-17. Cowboys beat the Jets 37-22, which not a surprise. You know, not surprising. Saints though beat the Giants to get their first win of the year, 26-14. Colts blowing out the Raiders 40-6, which is interesting because Mark Sanchez was supposed to be calling that game, but I heard he got stabbed and then he got arrested. Which by the way, that whole Sanchez story, it got crazy. Now, initial reports said Sanchez got stabbed and went to the hospital, which he was critical but in stable condition. But then the story turned a complete 180, and turns out it was Sanchez that got arrested because he was pretty much, well, as it turns out, Sanchez was the aggressor. So I'm just gonna leave it right there. I'm just gonna leave the story right there, because I don't want to take up too much time on the thing here. Anyway, Buccaneers beat the Seahawks. I think the 4 o'clock game started. The 4 o'clockers or later. Anyway, Tampa Bay beats the Seahawks, all thanks to a last-second field goal, 38-35. The Titans get their first win. Of course, that also means Cam Ward got his first win as a starting QB, 22-21, as they beat the Arizona Cardinals. Which, by the way, what were you doing? The Cardinals found new ways to lose a game. So yep, they pretty much choked it. Anyway, Commanders Commanders technically blowing out the Chargers 27-10. We have the Lions beat the Bengals 37-24. And then the Sunday night game, Patriots beat the Bills 23-20, which that pretty much ended the undefeated season for both the Bills and the Eagles too, which I forgot to mention that little part there. They were the two undefeated teams. Well, not anymore. Now only the winless Jets, they were the only winless team remaining. And then, of course, last night, the Monday night game, Jaguars beat the Chiefs 31-28. Now, as I mentioned earlier, was the baseball. Oh, there it is. Crap. If I can, Major League. Oh, there it is. MLB. Here we go. Here we go. Now, where's the postseason bracket? Here we go. Now, of course, last week, wild card had happened last week, which I forgot to mention it, so I'm gonna go over those real quick. The Detroit Tigers beat the Cleveland Guardians / Indians. I'm still calling them Indians, but anyway, the Tigers beat Cleveland by 2-1 in the series. Yankees, Red Sox. Baseball's greatest rivalry. Yankees beat the Red Sox in the series 2-1. And then the National League wild card, we have the Dodgers beat the Reds in a 2-0 sweep. And then the Cubs beat the Padres 2-1 in the series. Now they're on to the division series. I'm going to start with the ALDS. And of course, the game is currently going on as of right. Of course, we have the Mariners-Tigers game, which is going on as we speak. Now, series is currently tied as of this video, 1-1. Although Seattle is currently leading 3-0 over the Tigers. And then the other game was on between of course the Toronto Blue Jays against the New York Yankees. That game is also on right now as of recording this video. The score is currently 0-0, even though Toronto currently leads the series 2-0. Oh, by the way, the Mariners-Tigers series, the series is tied at 1-1. This is Game 3 tonight. So, now on to the game. Now on to the NLDS. We have Dodgers beat the Phillies 2-0. And then we have the Brewers and the Cubs series. The Brewers are ahead 2-0. So, anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Adios, peace, and God bless, and have a great rest of your week, everyone.